and welcome to Something Edible.
You know, there's really nothing better than popcorn coming off of your stovetop. In my opinion, it even rivals the popcorn coming out of the movie theater. And if you really want to elevate your stovetop popcorn to the next level, you got to make kettle corn. And when I make kettle corn, I like to take it another step further and put some bacon grease in mine and a little bit of maple syrup, and then I'll finish it with some of my homemade smoked salt. And while you don't need homemade smoked salt to make this, you do need smoked salt. So today we're going to make this maple bacon kettle corn, and to do that we need to start with the salt. Alright, so to begin with, we need to start with our salt. We're going to have a half teaspoon of smoked salt today. And I've got it in my mortar and pestle, and we're just going to run it around there, and we're going to pulverize it and turn it into a powder. And the idea here is to maximize surface area so that when we're making our popcorn, when we're finishing our popcorn, that this salt sticks in every little nook and cranny of that popcorn. You can actually use less seasoning on your popcorn and get just as much flavor by doing it this way. So with that done, it's time to move to the stove. Okay, so over medium heat, we are going to add 2 tablespoons of bacon grease. You can't make this recipe without bacon grease. You got to. I don't know how else you would do it. So there it goes. And really what you're looking for is enough to cover the bottom of the pan here. This is going to melt, and we're going to cover the bottom of the pan by about 1/8 of an inch maybe. And we're going to wait for this to where it gets hot enough to where it just begins to smoke. I mean, bacon grease has a lower smoke point than cooking oil because it's kind of dirty. It's got all those good flavors in there. So we're going to, it's going to smoke sooner. So we really got to watch it. But in the meantime, we're just going to wait for this to smoke. Okay, so now we've got little wisps of smoke coming out of here. Now everybody keep your, caution level goes up by now because we're dealing with hot fat and sugar and those sorts of things. So be careful while you're doing this. But, so here's the smoke. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of popcorn here. And you hear it start to sizzle. Now here's where you really have to be careful. You're going to add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup and watch the sizzle. Yeah, you can hear it sizzling in there. And you don't want to leave the lid off this for too long. Give it a little swizzle here. And now I'm going to lid it up. Now, if you've got a lid that vents, that's good. I don't have one that fits this thing. I mean, I could show you what I used last time, but I don't want you guys repeating what I did. I'd probably get sued. I had this contraption up at the top. Basically, you want to vent steam so that you want to vent the steam so that it doesn't make your popcorn soggy. So I'll just tilt my lid a little bit like this, but when it starts to pop, get that lid back on so you don't burn yourself. So about every 30 seconds or so, I'm just going to pick this up. You don't want to slide this across your burner. That's just a bad idea. You want your stove to stay intact and not have a bunch of scratches on it. So just give it a swirl and then set it back on there and just vent it just a wee little bit. Now, it just so happens that my burner cycles on my electric stove about the time that I need to pick this up and swizzle it. So I watch the burner cycles here. Don't walk away from it though. You really don't want to walk away from this stuff. You can start to smell the maple and the bacon waft up from this stuff. It smells pretty good. Just don't take the lid off and stick your nose in there now. It'd be a bad idea. And very shortly, we're going to start to hear this pop. And once it starts to pop, then you really got to watch it because this has sugar in it and it will burn. The closer you get to done, the less popping you're going to hear. And it's going to start to sound muted, and you don't want to go beyond popping because you're going to burn. So it might take you a couple of tries to get this just right. And this is almost done. I don't want to burn this. Got a few more popping in there, but it might not even be worth it to if I was going to burn this. So you know what? I'm going to call it good. This isn't a popcorn that's going to be brimming over the top, and that's okay. We just want enough headspace to make sure that things move in there and that everything gets evenly coated. So this is done. It's time to season this up so we can eat. All right, time to plate, or bowl rather. Well, we're getting a little messy here, but that's okay. There we go. Look at that. Hardly an Old Maid in the bottom. That's okay. That's a good bowl of popcorn. Now we're going to take our smoked salt and we're just going to season it. Add less than you think you'll need of this. And then season as you go to get up to the right amount of saltiness. I think that's pretty good. Okay, where to start? I think right here at the top is good. You might have to let it cool a little bit, and as it cools, it'll get that awesome crust on the outside that people associate with kettle corn. I mean, look at that color. That's great. That's good. Just a little more salt. So you got a little bit of maple syrup coating each bit, and you're basically frying your popcorn in pork fat. I mean, really, how bad is that, right? And then really don't skip the smoked salt. It's what makes this stuff taste like bacon the most. I mean, you get your depth of flavor from the pork fat, but really it's that smoked salt that you're going to associate with bacon. So if you want to try to make your own maple bacon kettle corn, you can get the recipe from hdnews.net, the Hayes Daily News' website. You can also get it from my website, somethingedible.com. I've got a few extra photos and some tips and tricks for you over there. And if you have any question about kettle corn, popcorn, any kind of corn, you can always ask me on Facebook or shoot me a tweet on Twitter, and I'll do what I can to help you. So until next time, enjoy some popcorn.